might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you about our calming corner. And so I want to ask this first question to you is, what does calm mean? And if you're watching this in a different classroom, you could pause the video at this time and talk about calm and talk about feelings. But what does it mean to be calm? Ellie?
And to be relaxed.
Good.
Ready to learn.
Relax, ready to learn. Anything else? Tyler?
Just to chill.
To chill. That's a nice way of putting it. Absolutely. And we all have feelings. What are feelings? Ian?
Feelings are things that you feel when, like, if you're feeling angry, like you're frustrated.
Good. Angry. It's an emotion, isn't it? It's something that we have inside of us, and we have lots of different types of feelings. Happy, sad, frustrated, excited, and all those things are things that we experience throughout the day. Let's talk about some of these different feelings and the different zones that each of them are in. So in a blue zone, you could be sad, sick, tired, bored, kind of slow moving is what you actually would be. Okay. A green zone. This one's probably your best one to be in. You're happy, you're okay, you're focused, you're calm. And like, was it Ella? Did you mention ready to learn?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're ready to learn in this zone. Yellow zone. You can be feeling frustrated. It's not that you're mad at this particular point, but you can start feeling a little bit frustrated with things. You could be worried about something. It could also be the opposite. You can kind of be silly and too excited and a little bit out of control. Just a little bit, okay? Those are different zones there. And then we have our red zone. Red zone's pretty definitive. You're mad. You're being mean to someone. You're scared. You feel like yelling or hitting or throwing something. You are essentially out of control. Anybody ever felt any of those things that I've gone over in any of the zones? Every single one of you has your hand up. Yes. All of us have had some of those feelings in some way or another.
I feel that the calming corner is a really nice place to be, and to have it in a school and in a classroom is a really good idea, because you're gonna have feelings at school. Like, it's gonna happen. They're gonna happen, and all the things in the calming corner are nice to use.
Our learning zone is essentially what we consider the best zone to be in. That's going to be our green zone. We want to be in the green zone. And why do we want to be in the green zone? Anybody have any ideas? Why would you want to be in the green zone? Lara?
You want to be in the green zone because then you're happy and you're ready to learn and you feel okay and you're not going to be distracted while learning.
Your brain is essentially ready to take in information and keep it. Ella, anything else you want to add to that?
And be safer for you and people around you, and just your environment in general.
Great way of thinking about that. You're safer. Safer for yourself, safer for others. One more thing, Ian?
Also, the red zone would be unhealthy if you were in it too much, because it wouldn't be good for others.
Could be. I mean, you can have a lot of stress. Stress is something that can be bad for your body if you have too much of it. So absolutely. So we all have these zones that you've been in at different points in your life. You might have been in one zone this morning when you got up. You might have been kind of blue this morning. You might have been green by the time you got to school. At school, you might have had a fight out on the playground, so then you're in the red zone. And then you started calming down, you got to the yellow zone, but you're still a little frustrated. And then you got to do your favorite subject, or you got to go on a field trip, and you were in the green zone. Then you came back and realized that you had a reading test. That put you in the yellow zone. So we change these zones throughout the day, don't we?
One of the reasons I come in the calming corner is because of math. Sometimes I get frustrated in math because I don't understand something. And a few things that I like to use in the calming corner is this ball with other balls inside of it. And I like to use the breathing ball, which is right there. And I made a calming corner at my house. And in it, I have my Kindle with headphones so that I can listen to music. and I have a few putties, and I have some scented erasers.
Do you stay in the one zone always, or do you move around? And we've certainly talked about that. I don't know. We could talk further about that within our small groups if we wanted to as well. Here's another small group discussion. When you are in a blue, yellow, or red zone with your feelings, what gets you out of that zone? So let's actually talk about that right here as a group. And if you're doing this as a classroom teacher, you could pause right now and have small groups talk about what are ways that you get out of those zones.
I use the calming corner because it helps me calm down and stuff, and also it helps me calm down when I'm mad because like it has a bunch of fidgets and like candles, and I like smelling the candles.
So simply watching nature outside can get you out of that kind of that funk that you're in. And it doesn't have to necessarily be in our classroom. It could be anywhere. It could be at home, it could be in the car, it could be on the bus. Ella, how about you?
Listening to music or reading a book.
Great. Listening to music and reading a book is always a good one. Tyler?
Thinking of when you're going on vacation.
Cool. Yeah. Great. Another one? Having a snack. Maybe you're hungry. That sometimes can help. Zoe?
Closing my eyes and dreaming into my eyes would clear my black crisis.
Good. Just simply closing your eyes and kind of just getting down to feeling relaxed. Yeah. Ellie?
When you have someone who distracts you like a fidget and whatever's causing you.
Sometimes just something to play with in your hands can help. Absolutely. Let's take a peek at a few more of these. Here's the most important slide probably about this entire thing, ladies and gentlemen, is that you have the power to change. You have the power to get yourself out of that zone that you're in, that you don't want to be in, and get back to the green zone. How many of you have ever reset like a computer or an iPad or a phone, or just essentially just reset a game? Good. You can do that with your emotions as well. You can certainly do that as well. And our classroom has that special way of doing that, of resetting. It's called our calming corner. So that's going to be just a reserved area for when we need this. This is not for snack time to go play. This is not a workplace, so you can't go over there during small group time and work over there. Nope, nope. We need to have that available for anybody who needs to reset themselves. Okay? And so, like I said, this is going to be called our calming corner. And calming corners look at in different ways. We happen to have one right next to our window, which is nice in case you want to look out the window and just kind of look at nature, look at the snow, look at the rain, look at the squirrel playing, whatever. And they all have different things in them to help us reset our systems. Ella likes to listen to music and read books. Zoe just simply likes to close her eyes for a few minutes. Maybe you just want to fidget with something like Ellie mentioned. That's certainly going to help. So there's lots of different things that are over there that can help you reset. We didn't take the time to really name our corner. Sometimes you might want to name it. That's fine. You can certainly do that. The other important thing that we need to make sure you understand is it takes about 2 to 7 minutes. So I think typically if we go about 5 minutes with the timer back there, that would probably be enough time. And once that timer goes off, if you still need a little more time, I'm going to ask that you come back to your seat where you're working and you just kind of chill there for a little bit in case somebody else needs to go use that. We're going to limit it to 2 people. So no more than 2 people in our calming corner at a time. And you are not there to have a conversation with somebody else. You got to recognize and be respectful that somebody else is there because they're not in a green zone right now. You don't know what zone they are coming in there. And obviously you're not in a good zone either at the moment. So you need to recognize if somebody else comes in there, you're going to be respectful of them. It's not a time to be conversing. Does that make sense? All right. Like I mentioned, limit of 2 people. 1 is the ideal one. 2 to 7 minutes is what we're looking for, in which you can use any of your 5 senses to essentially help you reset. Okay. We only have really the 4 senses in there. We don't have anything for taste in there, but that's something that we could talk about a little later in the year. And so these are just some of the different things that are in our calming corner. And calming corners vary from classroom to classroom, but all these essentially have to do with kind of all those different types of senses. And here's the last thing I want to talk about. Students, you guys get to decide when you go back there. You get to choose when you need to go back there and we don't, because I'm not the one who's regulating emotions, you are. You need to learn to do that on your own. There might be a time, however, I might say, hey, do you need to spend some time in the calming corner? Hey, I think that you're kind of in a yellow right now. Do you want to go spend some time back there? So sometimes a teacher might direct that. Okay? Any last questions before we go? Before we move on? All right, so Lara, if you would just simply pan that, you're still recording, right?
Yeah.
Would you simply pan it toward the class? And class, would you just raise your hand if you've used our Calming Corner this year? Awesome, pretty much all of you. And you can pan all the way over so you can get that side too. Great.
I use the Calming Corner because it helps me get back into the green zone so I can be a better learner and be a better person. I like to use the timer to time myself so I know that I'm not in there longer than I need to be. And I also like to use some of the fidgets in there so I can distract myself from what's going on in the classroom, and so I can help myself get back into the green zone when I'm in a blue, yellow, or red zone.
I use the Calming Corner about once or twice a week because I have sensitive feelings, and once I get mad, it like something just inside my brain, I get mad and I can't focus. So that's why I use it maybe 1-2 a week. Another thing is that I really like the Calming Corner because right after I'm done using it, I can focus. I usually take 5 to 6 minutes in the Calming Corner, and it helps me focus definitely in math and reading and writing.
This summer, my classroom did kind of a makeover in terms of what it looks like physically. And when I was doing that, Mrs. Frandup came in and she was sharing with me this idea of a calming corner. And she shared the idea that a calming corner is a place where kids can actually go in your classroom to calm down, to essentially regulate their emotions. And the ability for kids to regulate their emotions is huge. We teach more than just simply reading and writing and math and science and social studies here at Westside. We also teach social skills. And in addition to that, of course, now we definitely want to be working with kids and their emotions. And calming corners allow kids to truly self-regulate. So as part of one of the presentations I make to kids is we share this about you have the power to change. You have the power to regulate yourself. And to have that control, that's huge. And so a calming corner is just simply one of the tools that we can use for kids to get into what's called our green zone. Green zone is where we can learn. Green zone is where we want to be in order to be in a good place here in school.